The history of wine is not just the story of a drink. It is the story of kings and slaves, of blood and celebration, of religion and war, of love, betrayal, and survival. For thousands of years, wine sat beside emperors while kingdoms burned around them. People drank it during weddings and before executions. Some believed wine was a gift from God. Others believed it was the drink of the devil, and hidden inside ancient caves, old temples, and broken royal palaces lies a dark truth most people never talk about. Wine helped build civilizations, but it also destroyed millions of lives. Tonight, you are not just hearing the history of wine. You are entering one of the oldest and most dangerous stories in human history. The story begins more than 8,000 years ago, long before modern cities, before giant empires, before famous kings wrote their names into history. Imagine a cold night in an ancient village near the mountains of Georgia. Rain falls softly outside. A family sit, some around a fire inside a small mud house. Clay jars stand in the corner. Inside one jar, forgotten grapes slowly begin to change. Days pass. The sweet fruit starts bubbling. A strange smell fills the air. The people become curious. One man carefully drinks the liquid. At first, silence. Then suddenly, his face changes. His body becomes warm. His fear disappears. His sadness fades away. For the first time in human history, someone feels the magic of wine, and in that moment, the world changes forever. Archaeologists today believe some of the oldest wine was discovered in this region. Ancient people buried huge clay jars underground to keep the drink cool. They did not know chemistry. They did not know science, but they discovered something powerful. Fermented grapes could change human emotions. Wine became more than a drink. It became mystery. It became ritual. It became power. Years passed. Civilizations slowly rose from the earth. In ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt, wine became a symbol of wealth. The poor drank beer, but kings drank wine. Inside massive Egyptian palaces, servants carried golden cups filled with dark red liquid. Pharaohs believed wine connected them to the gods. Huge vineyards spread across the Nile River. Workers spent entire days under the burning sun growing grapes for royal families. But there was something dark hidden behind this beauty. Most of these workers were slaves. While rich rulers enjoyed sweet wine inside cold palaces, thousands suffered outside. History often hides these painful truths. Behind luxury, there is usually suffering. Inside Egyptian tombs today, ancient paintings still show people making wine, crushing grapes with their feet, filling jars, singing songs, smiling faces painted on walls. But those paintings never show exhaustion. They never show broken bodies. They never show the people who died building this luxury. And that is the dark side of history. The powerful write the stories. The weak disappear. Years later, wine traveled across oceans and deserts. Merchants carried it through dangerous roads filled with thieves and war. One broken jar could destroy a trader's future. But demand kept growing. Because wine did something rare. It made people forget pain. And humans have always searched for escape. Then came the Greeks, and the story became even bigger. Ancient Greece transformed wine into culture, into philosophy, into celebration. The Greeks worshipped a god named Dionysus, the god of wine, madness, pleasure, and chaos. Festivals for Dionysus were wild and dangerous. People danced through the night. Music echoed through forests. Wine flowed like rivers. Some became joyful. Others became violent. Many lost control completely. The Greeks believed wine could reveal a person's true soul. And maybe they were right, because alcohol does something terrifying. It removes the mask people wear every day. Hidden anger appears, and sadness rises. Hidden truth escapes. Even today, one cup can turn laughter into violence. Ancient Greek philosophers often debated wine. Some called it sacred. Others warned it could destroy men from inside. But no warning stopped people, because humans are attracted to dangerous pleasures. Soon, another empire arrived, the Romans, and they changed wine forever. The Roman Empire spread wine across Europe like fire. Everywhere Roman soldiers marched, vineyards followed. France, Spain, Germany, Italy. Wine became part of daily life. Roman leaders drank wine during political meetings. Soldiers drank before battle. Families drank during dinner. Even children sometimes tasted watered wine. To the Romans, wine was civilization itself. But behind this success, corruption grew. Powerful politicians used wine to control crowds. Huge parties filled Roman cities. Luxury exploded. Greed spread everywhere. Some Roman emperors became completely addicted to pleasure. SSI feasts lasted all night. Food covered giant tables. Wine poured endlessly. Meanwhile, poor citizens starved outside, and slowly, the empire began rotting from inside. One Roman writer warned, "When a society worships pleasure more than honor, collapse begins," and he was right. Rome eventually fell. Cities burned. Armies vanished. Chaos swallowed Europe, but strangely, wine survived. Even while kingdoms died, wine remained alive, because another force protected it: religion. Inside dark medieval monasteries, Christian monks quietly continued making wine. Outside monastery walls, Europe suffered from war, disease, and fear. But inside, monks worked silently among vineyards. They believed wine represented the blood of Jesus Christ. It became holy, sacred, untouchable. Monks spent years improving winemaking methods. Some of the world's oldest wine traditions began in these monasteries. But the church itself carried dark secrets too. Religious leaders some. Times became extremely rich through wine trade. While ordinary people struggled to survive, churches owned huge lands and vineyards. Corruption slowly entered religion. And once again, wine stood beside both faith and greed. Then came one of the darkest moments in human history: the Black Death, the plague. Millions died across Europe. Entire villages disappeared. Families buried loved ones every day. Fear ruled the world. And during this nightmare, many people drank wine constantly. Some believed it protected them from disease. Others drank because reality became unbearable. Imagine the silence of empty streets, church bells ringing endlessly, carts carrying dead bodies, and terrified people holding wine cups with shaking hands, trying to escape fear for just one night. Sometimes humans do not drink for pleasure. Sometimes they drink to survive emotionally. Centuries passed. Then came the age of kings and queens, and wine became a symbol of royal power. In France, massive vineyards covered the countryside. French nobles competed over the finest wines. Royal banquets became displays of wealth: golden candles, long tables, expensive clothing, crystal glasses shining under palace lights. But while royalty celebrated, poor farmers suffered terribly. Many could barely afford bread, and eventually, anger exploded. The French Revolution began. Crowds stormed the streets. The rich were hunted. Palaces fell. Blood covered the roads of Paris. And suddenly, wine changed meaning again. It was no longer only for kings. Ordinary people demanded equality, even in drinking. History keeps repeating the same lesson. When wealth becomes too unfair, society eventually breaks. As centuries moved forward, wine spread across the entire world. European colonists carried grapevines to new lands: South America, California, Australia, South Africa. Wine became global. But this expansion also carried pain. Colonization destroyed local culture. Lures in many regions. Native populations suffered deeply. Land was taken, lives were shattered, and once again, luxury often grew beside suffering. Then came the industrial age. Machines transformed winemaking forever. Factories increased production. Bottles became cheaper. Wine entered ordinary homes. But something unexpected happened. Quality sometimes disappeared. Greed returned. Some producers mixed dangerous chemicals into wine to earn more money. People became sick. Scandals exploded. Governments finally created laws to control wine production. Because when money enters any industry, corruption follows closely behind. But perhaps the most shocking chapter came in the 1800s. A tiny insect nearly destroyed the wine world forever. Its name was phylloxera. Small, invisible almost, but deadly. This insect attacked grapevine roots across Europe. Vineyards died everywhere. Farmers watched helplessly as generations of work vanished. Families lost everything. Some cried while burning dead vines. Others abandoned their homes completely. France suffered terribly. The country feared its wine culture was ending forever. It was not just economic loss. It was emotional loss. Wine was part of identity, part of memory, part of family history. And now it was disappearing. For years, scientists searched desperately for solutions. Finally, they discovered American grape roots could resist the insect. European vines were joined onto stronger American roots. And slowly, wine survived again. But the disaster revealed something important. Even the strongest traditions can collapse suddenly. Nothing is permanent, not kingdoms, not wealth, not even cultures. Then came the 20th century, and wine entered modern history. During Prohibition in the United States, alcohol became illegal. The government claimed alcohol destroyed families and increased crime. Bars closed. Police raided secret businesses. Thousands were arrested. But something strange happened. Illegal alcohol businesses became stronger. Gangsters grew rich. Violence exploded. The famous gangster Al Capone built massive criminal empires during this time. Secret bars called speakeasies opened everywhere. People drank hidden wine behind locked doors. Jazz music played softly in dark rooms filled with smoke. Fear and excitement mixed together. The government learned an important lesson. Humans rarely stop wanting forbidden things. Sometimes banning something only makes it more powerful. Eventually, prohibition ended. Wine returned legally. And over time, it became part of modern culture again. Today, wine is everywhere. Romantic dinners, luxury hotels, celebrations, family gatherings, business meetings. Movies often show wine as beauty and success. But hidden beneath modern glamour, the old truths still remain. Wine still destroys some lives. Addiction still breaks families. Accidents still happen. Pain still exists. The same day, drink that inspired poets also caused suffering. And maybe that is why the history of wine feels so emotional. Because wine reflects humanity itself, beauty and darkness together, joy and destruction together, hope and pain together. Think about it. For over 8,000 years, humans never stopped drinking wine. Empires collapsed. Wars destroyed nations. Religions changed. Technology transformed the world, but wine survived every generation. Why? Because deep inside, humans search for the same things they searched for thousands of years ago. Comfort, escape, connection, forgetfulness, love, peace. A single cup of wine can hold memories. A wedding, a heartbreak, a final goodbye, a lonely night, a celebration after survival. That is why wine became more than history. It became emotion trapped inside a bottle. And perhaps the saddest truth is this: many people who created the world's greatest wines were never rich themselves. Farmers worked endless hours under hard weather. Families protected vineyards for generations. Some lost everything during wars. Some died without recognition. Yet their work continued living through every bottle opened by strangers years later. History often remembers kings, but ordinary workers built the world. As the sun sets over endless vineyards today, the story still continues. Somewhere tonight, a couple will celebrate love with wine. A lonely person will drink quietly beside a window. Friends will laugh around a table. Someone will drink to forget pain. And somewhere else, another person may lose control completely. The same ancient liquid, still carrying both beauty and danger, just like it did thousands of years ago. And maybe that is the real story of wine. Not the drink itself, but humanity's endless battle between pleasure and destruction, between celebration and sadness, between control and temptation. For 8,000 years, wine watched humanity rise and fall. It stood beside pharaohs, Oman emperors, monks, revolutionaries, gangsters, lovers, and broken souls. Civilizations vanished into dust, but wine remained, silent, watching, waiting. A bottle opened today still carries the shadow of ancient history inside it. The laughter, the wars, the blood, the celebrations, the tears. Everything still echoes through time. And maybe one day, thousands of years from now, future humans will still raise a glass, without realizing they are touching one of the oldest surviving stories on Earth. Because wine was never just a drink, it was always a mirror of humanity itself. Beautiful, dangerous, emotional, and eternal. Empires died, kings disappeared, but the story of wine never ended.